Welcome back, guys. Henri here, and today we're gonna talk about things that turn guys into simp, right? So if you made any of these mistakes, consider commenting down below if you feel like it. So what is a simp, right? So you can look up the definition on Google, obviously, but easily put, I'd say that a simp is basically a guy that is overly submissive to women in hope to get any attention from them. It's usually sexual attention, and usually girls are not into these guys. So, like they are not interested, and simp are basically forcing the relationship, right? So let's get into the mistake that turns guys into simp. The first mistake that turns guy into simp is basically being a yes man or a people pleaser, right? So always, if you're the type of guy who is always available for women whenever they need you, like they can call you at like midnight and you're gonna roll up to their house and help them with their homework or some shit, then you're like you can be qualified as a simp, especially if you get nothing out of it, right? And this is a big problem because you're gonna be seen as less valuable, because if you don't value your own time, nobody will value your time, right? So if girls can see that like you have nothing going on in your life, you are always free, they're just gonna abuse your time and they're never gonna respect you. So what you need to do is basically appear busy, right? Even when you're not doing anything. Like just when people ask you for favors, sometimes just say no. Say that you're at the gym, for example. You should be going to the gym anyway, but just pretend that you're going to the gym, or even if you're just on your phone playing video game, just pretend that you're doing something. It's gonna be seen as more valuable, right? Because if you think about it, valuable men or high value men, they never have time, right? Like you're never gonna see a girl call, I don't know, Jeff Bezos at midnight to help her with her dishes or some shit, right? He wouldn't be able to because he's too busy, right? And he's like higher value. So you do the same thing. If you're like, you should develop yourself enough to actually be busy, like in your day to day. Just pretend to be busy and say no. You're gonna be seen as more valuable, and she's not gonna see you as being a simp, basically. And the second mistake that most guy make that turn them into simp is basically gifting women or paying for everything, like giving gift to women without them earning it, or just paying for everything, right? And this one is a big one, because if you don't value your own resources, she's never gonna value your money nor yourself, right? She's just gonna suck you dry. I'm talking about your money. She's just gonna suck you dry and use you and give you nothing in return, right? So as a rule of thumb, you should always make women earn your money and your time, your resources, right? Always make sure that she shows you interest, and also she makes effort toward the relationship before you invest your money, right? If you're the type of dude who just offer to like pay for example, you're the type of dude who like, oh, let me pay for your nails just because she's pretty, or like paying her gift just because she's pretty, you basically qualify as being a simp, and you're never gonna get anything out of her, and you're just gonna remain a simp your whole life. She's just gonna exploit you, and you're never gonna get anything in return. So always value your resources and make them earn it. This leads us to the third point the third mistake that turns guys into simp, which is being too emotional, right? Now, being emotional is normal. Like feeling emotion is normal. You're a human being, right? But the difference is like being able to control those emotions, right? Most of the time, simps are really emotional. Like they get offended by everything, and usually, if you know girls, like they like to play with your insecurity, right? Like if they know that you're insecure about something, they're sometimes gonna test you about that. Like they're gonna make joke about it. Like let's say you're too short, for example, they're gonna make joke about your height and see how you react, right? And a real man would be like wouldn't show his emotion, wouldn't show that it hurts him a lot, right? But super emotional guy might just start crying or just become sad, and this is an issue because like you're gonna be perceived as being weak, right? Because you're gonna be perceived as being weak, and when a girl knows that she can basically manipulate your emotion by just saying stuff, she's never gonna have respect for you, and you're just gonna be a lesser man. You're just gonna be perceived as a lesser man, and she's just gonna keep on exploiting you your whole life, and you're just gonna be qualified as a simp too, right? Because you're never gonna get anything out of that relationship. This leads us to the last mistake that guys make that turn them into simp, which is basically putting women on the pedestal, right? So this one is pretty easy to understand, right? When you put someone above you, like you gotta lift your head up to look at them, and they're gonna like put their head down to look at you. So you're putting yourself into an inferior position, right? I know that a lot of guys, whenever they see a pretty girl, they just put her as like being superior than them, and they basically see that girl as being perfect and superior than them, so they are already intimidated by her, right? They can barely talk, they don't know how to act, they want to do everything to please her, and by doing that, you like directly like disqualifies you as being a simp, like right off the bat, right away. She's never gonna respect you if she sees that like you're intimidated by her, right? So never put women on a pedestal. As a rule of thumb, you should make people show their true color. Like you should assume that everybody is the same, right? I mean, every girl are the same, whether they are pretty or not, right? Until they prove their value through their character, to the way they act, you should always put them on the same level, right? And never be intimidated by them. If you think about it, everybody has flaws, right? Like, yeah, whether you're a guy or a girl, like everybody has flaws. Nobody is perfect, so you shouldn't assume that people are perfect just because they are pretty or beautiful, right? This is stupid. So always assume that everybody is bad until proven otherwise. This was it for today. If you had any value from this video, consider liking and subscribing. See you in the next one.